Stunt sponsors 10-year tip with Garry Dibley.
And there we go. Good evening. It is Monday night. It's 9 o'clock. It's 10-year tip with me, Garry Dibley, and my ever so lovely co-host and modding buddy, that is Mark. Yes, I do apologise. I keep putting the wrong clip on, and there should be sound in there somewhere. But I just like putting that on and just testing. How many people type in chat, I haven't got any sound. Love it. Amuses me. For some small reason, it just amuses me. We have a bit of a show for you tonight. We do have, ending at 9:30 today, is the auction for the stunt wrench. Final total to that will be going to our raffle. If you haven't seen on the forums, we are running a raffle, and on the 3rd of December, in place of 10-year tip, we will be running the live auction with some vaping entertainment along the way, so we're told. So yeah, a lot of the guys have agreed to help out. If you want to bid on the, which is turning into the stunt wrench even package, we are giving you not only the stunt wrench in the official Vapor Trails TV stunt wrench box. There will be pretty much a full modding kit in there. My first ever soldering iron that I used on the early shows, some tools, some solder, some bits and pieces, some bits to make mods with, boxes and this, that and the other, and anything else I can find to fill that box in before I send it off. Currently we have our very own Mr. K, who is in pole position. If you want to have a bid, you have 30 minutes. Current bid is at £50, I do believe, and that can be found over on the Vapor Trails forum in the 10-year tip section, and it is the stunty auction. That fee will be added to the total pot, and we're looking to raise £1,000 for children in need, which would be great. Thank you very much for everybody's support so far. With all that said, we are going to go on now. This week, the mod thing. With the wood, last time you'll see it, until I've given up, thrown, gone, burnt. No, it's not, but I'll explain. Mark is finishing off his Mad Vapes box kit. See, my teeth today, they're naked. Going into our first vid, I'll see you after this. So you've got until 9:30 to get those bids in. And we're back again with the thing that is driving me potty. I may well, after this, what I intend to do today is fit an atomizer connection and test if it fires. If it fires, I may well kill it, he says. So basically what I've done, I've trimmed these right back. Cut them right back. So they're tiny little boogers. And I am going to just tin these up, and I am going to connect an ATI connector, and then going to assemble it with a battery. I'm going to press the button and hopefully it will fire. I still haven't made a new top cap. I've been absolutely run ragged this week, so I haven't had a chance. We've been obviously launching the Children in Need raffle, and obviously Stunty is up for auction this week. So I've just tinned those two little bits on there. There's a little blob on there, get rid of it. I've already got my ATI shoved in an old carto. Now I think this is going to be a right old fiddly git to get done. Especially for some reason I've got my camera right the other side of the room today. And I'm all fingers and thumbs. Now, it's been an interesting week. I've been struggling. So first of all, I'm just going to ease this one in on the neg. A bit more tin on my tip. And I'm just going to feed down my pause. Now, this is probably going to be nearly impossible to see.
because it is a fiddly little bugger. So I've got to try and angle that down, so I'm going to have to do it so you can't see it and try and get it in. I'm going to bend that back at an angle. Bend me end a bit back. As I say, I'm getting sick of this wood. It might be after today I'll put it on the back burner for a little while until I can make a new top. I just want to see it work, that's all. In some way, shape or form. Because it's taking far too long to do. I just haven't had the time to get this done. So we may have to chalk this one up. We may have to chalk this one up as a fail. Semi-fail. But obviously, you know, it has been said, and people have been saying, you know, this is effectively, we do something like this. It's called the Hammer of Thor, I do believe, or something like that. Very similar type of mod. And if you've been scanning the forums, you'll see something like pretty much like this that is now hitting the forums. China have decided to make wood, it would appear. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop away, grab a battery. I'll come back in two, and we'll see if we can actually get some steam out of this thing. Right, so I do have a battery. Just having some cinnamon rolls. Very nice stuff I found recently. So let's stick our battery in. In a minute, you know, we can fix the ATI connection in two. Stick my switch into my bit that was going to be for that. Now, unfortunately, what I'm going to have to do is hold this on. Let me just work out which way that's supposed to be going. I think it was that way, ish. So, get me switch in where it's going to go. Now, theoretically, what would happen is my magnets would be in this other half secured. And I would be in that sort of position. So I hit my switch now. You can probably hear that sizzling away. So theoretically that's where it was going to be held on, and as you can see my inner spring is held off. I'm not firing till I press that down. So it's working. It is working. See if we can make some steam come out. I was coming out the hole, this was a car one. So theoretically, yes, we are there. Now, basically what I'd be doing is getting this back in and fixed in there like so. Now I would do this with the battery in situ, purely because then I know that I'm not going to be interrupting any of my wires for my battery. Now we'll have to tidy those wires up down inside there, and it is then simply a case of making a new top cap. But like I say, I am absolutely hammered for time and just haven't been able to get round to doing that. I will probably revisit this when I've had a bit more time. I need to be talking a little bit later about some of the safety fuses. So I'm going to pop away. I'm going to chalk this one up as semi-complete. It fires, it works, it does everything I needed it to. I'm going to make an oak top for it at some point, sand it all up. It is literally a case of cosmetics now, making a new top lid, putting it on, sanding it, giving it a coat or something. And when I get to that point, somewhere in the near future, I'll bring the little wooden Dalek back and we can have a look. But I need to be moving on to new things. This is getting ever so slightly boring, but you get the theory. You get the theory, hopefully, and that's the main thing. Like I said when we started these shows, some things will work out, other things won't, and I think I've gone at this like a bull in a china shop and really cooped it up. But I'll pop back in a bit, and we're going to get some fluke action going.
Right then, welcome Welcome back, or indeed welcome to the show if it's your first time. When I left this thing last week, I drilled the hole in the wrong place, so I'm going to have to make an adjustment. And I think the easiest way is going to be to remove this and put on a couple of leads. That way I can fit everything in. So now we have to try and desolder this thing, which is going to be a fun job to say the least. Let's give it a try. Desoldering is a lot more difficult than soldering, I think. This is for me personally. Because when you have 3 legs like this to try and get out, it can be a bit of a job easing them out one at a time. Try and heat up all the legs at the same time if at all possible. Stand a chance. And in fact, I'll be back in a second when I've got this done. This could take a while. Right then, so I finally got that back off, and I've put a couple of short leads onto here. You can see I've missed off the 3rd pin. In fact, I removed it completely because on this board you only use 2 of the pins. The 3rd one is just a fly, it's just there for holding it in place. So I want to go this way around. The way I've rated the red one was to go at the first hole, get one to the second. So this is going to be fun trying to get these holes in here. Well, we shall see how we go. First time, I can't believe that. Missed completely. And I've sort of got a joint there. Not a very good one, I'm afraid. Now, pop into here, and I want, when I'm putting this together this way, I want this to sit with the regulator against this tin. So basically the tin itself is going to act as a heatsink, which I must bear in mind when I come to solder the rest of the wires on. Speaking of which, I'm going to need 2 lengths of wire, one from here to the switch. So somewhere around about there, I think. Strip them off and figure out which holes they go through, which is going to be the switch. I have a diagram here to remind myself. So I rotate the board to match the diagram. Of course, the switch is the first 2 holes here. Those 2 there. So battery connectors, I think, put them in through the top. Battery connector, switch connectors even, and solder on this side. Well, we have pre-tinned these, so just to save a bit of time. So one's for the switch in. So that's going to go that way. So the ones for the atomizer connector, the long ones. They are going to go into, oh, this diagram is terrible. So power for the next two. So that one and that one is me atomizer connectors.
So there we go, we're back in the room once again, and Mark proving just how easy it is to do a Mad Vapes kit. I'm sure you appreciate that, mate, don't you? Yes, no, they are fiddly little buggers, those, but well worth a punt if you fancy having a go at putting something together yourself, particularly with all the components on there. We are going to pop into our first little ad break. When we pop back, we're going to have a little bit more of a chat about the auction and where that's standing at the moment. I believe Dave K is currently winning, but we'll talk about that in two.
Liberty Flight sponsors 10-year tip with Garry Devil.
iVapor and iVapor Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your EC needs. That's ivapor.co.uk and ivapor-elixir.co.uk. iVapor and ivapor-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of vaportrails.tv.
And now back to Garry Deville's 10-year tip, sponsored by Liberty Flights.
And there we go, we are back in the room once again. Very quick ad break, didn't get time to scratch me bum during that one. So yes, as I said, we're going to have a quick brief chat about the auction, which will be ending in 10 minutes. I'm going to do this little next set of videos. When we come back, we will have a winner. Now, one thing that also is in the pot, just to tempt you a little bit more, I've said that whoever wins that, you will get to the value of your bid in raffle tickets for the big raffle that's taking place on the 3rd of December in this slot at 9 o'clock. So currently, with the bid of £50 for the stunty package, you would get 15 tickets for the raffle as well. So not to be sniffed at, especially when there are prizes in there like a Pravari Saturn, a limited edition one-off Cobra, lots of things like that. So it's well worth a punt. You get Stunty and your tickets. There we go. What more can I say? Pop in to our next little bits where Mark continues with his Mad Vapes mob.
So negative quarter of this comes off pin 3. That hole there. Extra careful not to solder on any of the other holes. And pin 4 is the next one. Just like that. Now, battery. I may notice I have cut a section out here to go around where the switch is because of my poor measurements before I did the holes. That's become necessary. So bottom hole is the positive for the battery. Is all the way down the other end. So let's have a look. Of course, these holes are so small, you need to be careful if you're going to tin your wires to make sure you don't want to grip big blob of solder on your wire. These holes are tiny. I'm telling you, it's getting damn hot. In fact, that wire needs trimmed off slightly. Straight through there. So. Put the solder on there, and that's that all wired. Now, next thing I need to do, all this to work, put the wires put the long wires through the hole for the atomizer. And find an atomizer. There you Isn't it good to be organised? Back in a sec. So, bring that out the way. Now for the negatives. So again, let's just good. Let's just hold it on there. Put the extra under the line. That's possibly one of the most awkward joints I've ever made. It's what the most awkward I've ever made it look, I should say. But it's done. So. Back through there. Two battery. Let's go into there. Now the only soldering I need to do is to the switch. I just need to figure out which way around everything's going to go now. Two ticks I need to better look at this.
Right, I do have something on my bench that I said we were going to talk about, and we spoke about it a little while ago, and it was one of my pet hates in the vaping toolage, shall we say. It was the 2 cent mod. Now it didn't fail in things that I tried it in. It was very impractical, shall we say. Yes, as you know, when it did blow it worked, and it was, you know, a one-time use type thing. So let me just give you an example of sort of what I'm talking about there, and the only way that I can, you know, show this is to bring in the for the very last time, the wrench. Stunty was very involved with when we did this last time. Just need to find where we pause this on here. So it would be rude not to bring him out for his farewell performance, because as of tonight, so he's being stubborn now. He's screwing up my soldering. Okay. We'll let you sport some solder. I know you've missed it. Hold it tight. No slacking on your last day. So all I'm doing, and there is a purpose for this, is I'm just soldering on a couple of wires on this battery terminal to enable me to demonstrate this a little bit more clearly. Stunty can stay there. It's his last day. So the way that this 2 cent device obviously worked, I'll just take this one out of the packet. Worked or didn't work, was essentially, it was a one-shot fuse. I'm just going to bring out a flukage. It's all coming out tonight, eh? Flukes and this, that and the other, and we might even have a beep. So, continuity test on the fluke. I have a beep. Essentially, when you test across this, on the back plate there, on the front, you got continuity. To show that chip was working. There was a circuit there. What I'm going to just do is introduce a battery into this holder, and effectively what this was for at the time was that if you did have a direct short on your mod, and I'm just going to put a direct short across this with a battery on. And there you go, there was a little puff of smoke there. It's the first time I've seen that happen. Little puff of smoke. That should have blown the little fuse in there. Measure the continuity. Just to show you, I'm on the back there, on the front. No continuity. Effectively, if you had a short in your mod, and this was trying to really operate way outside the ranges. Enough talk about the, if you like, the older version. There is a new kiddie in town. That's what I might do. I'm going to get myself a bullet, and I'm just going to show you how, you know, effectively how it would work, the old versus the new, with the same sort of test. I need to go and grab a battery. Let me pop back in 2. I will be back in 2 minutes.
Sorry about that. When you're working with something this small in such a small space, you sometimes need to move it up to where you can see it. So with the camera in the way, it does make it rather difficult to see sometimes. So I'll just quickly tin up the joints. Side and then the other. It's probably a lot easier if my fingers didn't react to heat so badly. There we go. Hopefully that should be all the soldering done now. So, basically there is everything. Next step, I think, but I glue the atomizer connector in before it all goes wrong. So, nice fresh tube. Just run it here all the way around. I'm trying not to throw the smugly away. That's fairly straight. Just hold it for a second while this sets. Trying to stick my finger to the inside. That's one atomizer connector in place. Now, the other thing I need to do is add some epoxy to this to hold this down in place, and somehow glue this in place. It will just be a matter of adding some epoxy. The usual 2-part stuff, clear. You add it in around this so it's fixed down around the battery connectors so they don't move about, and a bit around here just to firm up this connection a bit, and I'll be back when I get that sorted. Right then, so as you can see, I filled in a lot of way around here with epoxy. Ended up getting some all over the regulator, so that involved a lot of twisting backwards and forward of this while the epoxy was setting, so that it didn't sit in place. So now I'm going to try and do this without blocking the camera. Drop that one down the centre. That on there like that. And there you can see it's at 4.3 volts at the moment, hopefully. I'll just turn that up just a tad. Definitely do with an extra hand here. There we go, 4.62. That's working nicely. See what I just to make absolutely certain you can see this. There you go. That's what it was registered in 4.62. So my usual testing tank on here. Now with the lid of this box, I have this tank just slightly up so it doesn't fit all the way down at the cartomizer like I normally would, but it works just fine. And as you can see, it's producing rather well. Right, that's enough from me. I'm going to go off and enjoy this now. Catch you later.
And there we go, that was Mark finishing his Mad Vapes mod kit with the tin, which was very good. I mean, those things are damn fiddly, and hats off to Mark, nailed it. They're good to work with, they're good fun. If you fancy giving one a go, you can pick them up from, I think, either Mad Vapes if you want to get them anything, or Liberty Flights. I think I've got a few left in stock. I'm going to pop into our next little ad break. We come back and we will announce the winner of the auction for the wrench.
Liberty Flights sponsors 10-Year Tip with Garry Dibley. Sponsored by Liberty Flights.
And there we go, we're back in the room. And if you look very closely in this shot, you will see a little hint as to at some point in the future where me and Mark will be taking a show. Stunty auction is now finished, it is closed, and I can announce, which you probably all know, our own Mr. K has won the Stunty package, and I do believe we'll be donating £50 directly to the Children in Need page that we've got set up. So thank you very much for that, Dave, and if I may say, thank you very, very much for everybody that's been supporting us. As I say, in a couple of weeks' time we have the big auction coming up. No doubt Stunty may well be making appearances again, so very good. Well done, Dave, and thank you very much. I'm going to pop into our last little bit. I was going to bore you with the Stunty song again, but he's no longer mine. Dave now owns the rights to that song as well. I'm going to play this bit out. This is quite a little bit, so we'll see you back after this.
Right, I found a 18650 battery, which I've just metered, and that's running at 4 volts. I'm just going to get the silver bullet out. I'm going to remove the kick because it's pointless having a device of this type in with the kick. So the kick has got its own protection, and pretty much the same can be said of the new mod. But if you wanted to protect something against shorting, for example in a touchwood that I've just taken this battery out of, it's going to protect your springs and this, that and the other, was the way it was pitched. Let me just test the continuity on this chip first. Just so you can see there. Again, this is the old chip. That would then simply fit on the bottom of your battery. That would then slide in your mod. You complete your mod up the top there. Oh, people hate my threads, don't they? And what I'm going to do is just introduce a short directly across the top of this mod by just having a little bit of wire here. I'm going to touch the inner and outer pins together and hit the fire button. So I'm just shorting across the inner and outer pins there. Directly across. Let's just get that in there. So pressing the button. Hopefully, yeah, I know I've got to oil them. Hopefully my battery hasn't got warm, and we're assuming that when we put the continuity test across here, this one will have gone. No, it didn't. That was the problem with it. The last one we had did short in a silver bullet. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to try harder to short it. I shall do it with a screwdriver. Let me just grab a screwdriver so we can short across the two with. And theoretically that should have shorted it. I was directly across the two pins. Let me put that in again. Let me put that in there. Let me turn this up. And let me introduce a short again. I'm going to take back a bit more wire. I know this is probably going over old ground, but there is reason. There was reason for this. There you go. I'm just literally filling up my ATI connection here with wire, making sure it's touching everywhere. That's now in on the middle pin. You can see that. In on the middle pin, all in around there. I'm just going to hold the short in place with a screwdriver, hit the button, hold that in, moving it around a bit. It's definitely shorting. But as you can see, it's taken quite a while for this to do anything if it has. There you go. This time it's blown. Oh shit, no it hasn't. No. That was a problem with these at the time. They worked sporadically. That aside, obviously the new one has been released now, and the new one has been tested. I've put it in loads and loads and loads of mods. I didn't want it to sort of, you know, go all through those same tests again. I have done them off camera. I'm going to open up a fresh one of these and I'll show you some of the differences between the two. I'm going to see whether I can get down and dirty. So this is our new little chip, and this is the old 2 cent. Straight away you can sort of tell this one looks like it's gone through a far better production. It looks a lot nicer, it looks a lot more professional. The thing is with this one, it is also now resettable. So once you have a short across this, it will automatically reset. This one is going to give you far more bang for your buck than obviously this one ever did. This is one that you can just put in every time you put a battery on and protect your mod. Now I do believe that Dave said, you know, when he had a look at it as well, the one thing that you must understand, if you have a variable voltage device, if you have something that you've got to kick in, most times, 9 times out of 10, those devices do have built-in protection. However, this is great for somebody who's using you know, mechanical mods without sort of kicking them, etc., etc. To get this on there, I know, you know, a lot of people were saying about the telescope mod when that came out. You know, it was seriously flawed. Yeah, not my opinion. This was what I was reading on the threads, and it could have been a potential sort of hazard, was how people were perceiving that. Something like this in there, this one is, you know, you've got that added peace of mind. If you want that added peace of mind that you've got short protection in there, these are great. What I'm going to do very quickly, he says, I'm just going to put the continuity test across our new chip. As you can see, we have continuity. I'm going to apply a direct short straight across the battery on this. Now, whereas before, the one that we had, you see a little sort of puff of smoke come up from there. I'm going to short this directly now, and I'm going to hold my short on. Now, I'm holding my short in place because I want to see if there's any heat generated or anything like that. Now, I am getting heat on that chip, and the board's getting rather, you know, is getting warm, the board. But my battery is stone cold. So this chip is and I don't even see that that's actually also changed colour somewhat. But that has got, it got very hot during that shorting process. It's rapidly cooling now. Let me just do my continuity test. The short's been removed, obviously. Short's been removed, and straight away I've got continuity. I'm going to apply some heat again. The one thing that it does get rather warm, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But is there a point that then gets seriously hot? I suppose if it does, it's, you know, Have a look. I'm just going to hold, yeah, straight away. I'm getting heat on that chip there. I'm going to try and blow it up. I'm holding a short on for as long as I can. It's obviously what this is doing is cutting the voltage now. It's still obviously it's still flowing because it's getting damned hot. Haha. Hot. I'm just seeing how much abuse this can take because I'm holding a direct shot on this and it's burning me fingers. Now what you know the likelihood is it does tend to sort of drop the heat a little bit. It starts to it's now starting to cool. Now it's getting hot again. I mean that it is getting really hot. But the thing is with that, whereas you know if you had a direct short, let me just do this again. Test the continuity. And straight away I'm good to go again. So it works and it resets, and I have tested it in various mods, and I have monitored the voltage output when a mod's been put in a short scenario, and yes, it does clip the voltage. It kills it stone dead and it works again. Obviously, I don't think it getting hot is a massive concern. It does get seriously warm. However, it's one of those things that it depends when a short can occur at the most unlikely times. And the one thing is, you're out and about, you got your silver bullet or whatever, you stick a screw and outie on it, short crushes your middle pin, you press your button, and the first thing you do is fry your spring in the bottom. It claps down to nothing. With this in place, you are preventing that from happening, and it just won't fire. So that will give you the, if you like, a kick up the bum to start investigating why you're not working. ATI connections, ATIs, this, that, and the other. So it does what it says on the tin, shall we say. This time round, it actually does what it says on the tin. I believe at the moment Daz has sent me over these for looking at. I have looked at them and put them under a great deal of scrutiny and abuse. I have had one that I've soldered front and back and just left it there with a battery connected to it. My battery has stayed stone cold, and that is the thing with this. Your battery, and in this particular case my battery, it didn't get remotely warm at all. This was taking the heat. So very good for those people who may want to introduce a level of safety into their mods that they didn't have before. With that said, I'm going to pop away and I'll come back in 2.
There we go. For once, I like the little protecty thing. Yes, I believe that the reason for it getting warm, it will work on, if you like, some form of a thermal cutout. But yes, indeed, it does work, and a far sight more impressive than the other ones. What I'm going to do, I am going to have to, because I said I would if I had time, I'm going to have to play this again, just for me to say farewell. I'll see you after this. I had a tool, I kept him in my shed. He come out once a week. Well, he was a star of Tenure Tip, but now he's getting sold for children in need. someone or just take your place? Well, I think he must have got the right hold up, 'cause he took a chunk out of me face. Well, you see, the person that wins is going to get a big box of goodies. But please promise that when you get old Stunty home, you'll keep him away from the hoodies. And there we go, not a tear, because I know what I'm going to do to that before I send it to Dave. Okie dokie, it's been emotional once again. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back next week with another show of modding. We have something coming up very shortly as the run up to Christmas approaches, with something like that involved in the modding process. Next week, as I say, we're back. Week after that is the big auction. Get yourself over to UKV. There is a form in there. There is a post there in the charity typey section. Get some raffle tickets. We've got some big old prizes coming up in a week or two. No, week after next. Thank you very much, guys. See you watching. Good night.
Tenure tip. Tenure tip. Tenure tip. Tenure tip. Liberty Flight sponsors 10-Year Tip with Garry Dibley.